Hello and welcome to our masterclass series, Unleash Your Superpower, how to tap into your God-given purpose to build an extraordinary life of impact and fulfillment. I created this series because I really believe that every human being on the face of this planet is gifted with skills, talents, experiences, passions. All of these things are given to us for a reason. In other words, for a purpose, and that each one of us has a unique purpose that no one else can fill. And so the one thing though, and the reason I created this is that many of us never truly tap in for various reasons. Number one, we never take the time to look. Number two, maybe we don't feel worthy. We're caught up in our insecurities, whatever that might be. And so we don't experience that next level fulfillment that comes from just tapping into that superpower and tapping into our higher power, tapping into God, tapping into who we were created to be. So this series really is your straight up resource to be inspired, to be moved, and really to support you in creating something that is extraordinary, that is beyond what you can do on your own. So tapping into your superpower means tapping into something that is bigger than you, something that created you. We do promise you that with each interview, there will be an actionable item that you can take to move into living a purpose-driven life. And I really strongly encourage you to please take action with every interview. If you don't move into action, it really is just downloading information that's not going to do you a whole heck of a lot of good. So moving into action is a big deal. I'm your host. I'm Katie Suick. I'm a certified professional coach. More recently, I have come to just define my work as something that is God-driven. I have recently let go of the idea that my business needs to be separate from my faith. By bringing them together, I now am happy to say I am a faith and mindset coach. And my goal, my purpose in what I do is just creating, I really support professional women predominantly, although I do work with men, in really reclaiming themselves to find their confidence, their purpose, and to create freedom and deeper connection, and of course, impact in the world. So with all of that being said, I would like to introduce my guest. So please welcome Janiece. Janiece, thank you so much for being here. I'm so glad we found each other. So I would love for you to share with us, who are you and what do you do?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me. I so appreciate that. Absolutely. Once again, like you said, my name is Janiece Paige. I am the AKA Coach J, the Black Vegan Health and Wellness Life Coach. That's what who I am, what I am. I am a life coach. I'm a health and wellness life coach. I teach people how to change their life inside out. So when I say inside out, I deal with the mind, I deal with the nutrition, I deal with the physical body, and I deal with the spirit. So it's a soul, mind, soul, and body, and nutrition. That's what I tell people. So that's what I do. And most of my clients are, they hire me for all of that, just that they know what they're getting. And it is so connected, and so loving. I've been doing this for years, over 2 decades. I've been doing it full time for myself for the last 3.5 years. So I know I'm working in my purpose and in my passion. And I'm so loving it. It is such a blessing to roll out of bed and go into my office, or to go to see a client, or walk into a doctor's office. So those are all my clients. So I'm so grateful that God chose me for this.
It's really, it's incredibly fulfilling, isn't it? When you finally align with what you were created to do. So I'm just so excited to talk to you. So if we could take a step back even from purpose and go right into your faith story, like what is your faith journey? What brought you to where you are? Did you always believe in something greater than you? Did you stumble across? What was that like for you? And when did you realize that it matters?
So I grew up in the church. Going to church on Sundays, being active in a ministry at church. I started out as a candy striper, very young. Then I was a treasurer over one of the ministries, growing up. So I always had the church background. So I always believed in something higher than me, but
Mhm.
I didn't have the relationship. I didn't know what that was like. I knew that I was made to go to church. I knew that it was just in us, that we couldn't do nothing else until we went to church or we did our church duties. So I knew all that. It was until I became an adult. And my grandmother would always say, I don't pray for you to have a job. I don't pray for you to have money. I pray for you to have a relationship. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't understand. I would get mad at her and say, I need you to pray for me a job. I would get mad at her. But later in life, as I became more in tune to my spirit, and knowing the Bible for myself, and not listening to a preacher, but experiencing it for myself, is when I learned how to have a relationship with my higher power, which is God and Jesus, in the Holy Spirit. I learned how to do that. And doing that, it helped me to step more into my purpose. It helped me to see what I was created to be here for. It also, so doing that, it was a struggle, because God shows you, he tells you, it's in your spirit. I knew that I was supposed to be working for myself a lot longer, but you get attached to what you're doing. You get comfortable, you get comfortable with the income, you get comfortable with the job, you get comfortable with your life, and you're afraid to step out because it's uncomfortable. So that's where my faith really showed up. That's where the relationship I built and created really showed up, and the trust really showed up. So yeah, I started out as a church goer, knowing to go to church, had to go to church, was made to go to church, couldn't do anything, couldn't go anywhere unless I had my church duties. And then it went from church to faith to relationship. I cannot have faith without having a relationship. It just doesn't work together. But I didn't know that. So yeah, I live it every day. I don't miss a day. I don't wake up. My feet does not hit the ground without being thankful.
Oh, wow. I love that you spoke into that. That's come up a few times in some of the interviews, this whole concept of, the intellectual understanding of what that means versus the heart understanding, the faith, the relationship. Because like you, I was also raised in the church. There were rules, there were, things were done a certain way, but there was a disconnect between, like, God was, this man with a white beard in the sky, throwing down like lightning bolts. Like my childhood vision of that was kind of scary, and I can remember feeling like, oh. But you're right. Like when we mature, we learn that it's not about the intellectual understanding, because we'll never truly understand something. This is so magnificent, we can't grasp it. But I guess, yeah, actually living it. So I know a lot of people watching are going to be in a position of, yeah, I might lean in, but how do I know it's the right thing to do? How do I know that this is my purpose? What if I get it all wrong? So in your situation, the reason I was so intrigued by you and your story is you left a pretty cushioned job to embark on your own. I can't help but think of the analogy or the story of Peter getting out of the boat, and how he was fine at first, and then he's like, oh, what have I just done? I'm just curious for you, like, how did you come to realize that you were being called to leave that security, that knowing, and step into the unknown? And did you have your Peter moments of like, I'm drowning, what am I doing, or not?
Yes, I did. So God had gave me a vision long before I left my corporate cush job. I did. I had a very good job, made extremely good money. And God gave me a vision. And when he gave me the vision, God speak to me in my dreams. I woke up and I was like, whoa, you're going to have to give. I said, Lord, you're going to have to give me a whole lot of clients to make up my income. That's exactly what I said when I woke up. I was like, what? You said what? So it took me 4 years. So he gave me the dream. I was in graduate school. The company I worked for was paying for my MBA.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, Lord, what are you doing? And to back up, the company was paying for my MBA, and I asked God for that years ago. So he was fulfilling one promise while he was showing me another one. And I was like, what are you doing? What's going on? They paying for my MBA. So he gave me the vision, and the company I worked for at the time, I was on the tail end of my MBA. I think I was in my capstone classes, and they had decided that they were going to go another direction, but they was asking all of us to, my job wasn't at jeopardy or anything like that. So I had said, God told me to put a plan together. He told me to put a plan together. I'm obedience. I'm doing everything he asked me to do. So it was in my heart. He gave me the vision. It was in my heart. Then I start believing in it. I started trusting him, and I started saying, okay, Lord, if you're going to do this, when do you want me to do this? Because at first, when I was believing it and trusting it, I thought he was telling me to quit my job. But he told me, no, don't leave no money on the table. They're going to pay you to leave. And so I was like, okay. So every day I spoke it. I said, I had a cushion job. I had people work for me, girl. I had a great job. And I was not in jeopardy to lose my job at all. But I would start saying, well, Lord, they're going to pay me to leave. They're going to pay me to leave. So I just started saying it, and I started believing it. So I knew it in my heart. So I tell my clients, when I deal with them on a spiritual level, on a mindset level, I tell them, God speaks to the heart and the devil speaks to the mind. So if it's here, I know I have to do it. It gets to be done. It has to be done. But if it's here, I get to pray about it and keep on seeing if it's God speaking to me or not. Because God does not speak here. He speaks here. So that's how I knew. I was like, okay. And then he just started putting things in place. I was just being steady obedience. Like, okay, well, let me do this. Let me do that. Everything he said to do, I was putting things in place, not knowing how I was being set up.
Of course.
So, I was in alignment. I was just moving as he said. And I was still fearful. I was still scared. I was still afraid. But I was like, well, he's not going to set me up to fail.
Isn't that the truth? Yeah, I love that. It really is true what you just said about our head, because if we get stuck in our head about things, we just go around and around and around, and then it feeds into anxiety and fear. And then we tell ourselves stories. It's all like, if you go here, it doesn't necessarily make sense, but that's the compass. That's what we have to listen to. So I'm so glad you shared that. So now, fast forward to where you are today, what is the biggest why for you? What makes you jump out of bed? Not that you do it every day necessarily. I don't know anyone that does every day, but really, like, your why is obviously your vision is the thing that's pulling you forward. So tell me about that. What is your why? What makes you keep doing what you're doing?
So my why is impacting. I love helping people change their life. I love seeing the results. I love when they tell me, how they feel after the experience they had with me. Not just that, I love to see the glow, how everything comes together for them. Because it's that I'm working for him. And if I get the feeling, he gets the glory. So I always want to glorify him in what I do. So that's why I roll out of bed. I get excited. That's one reason. That's my sole reason, my spiritual connection. But also earthly, I like to leave a legacy for my nieces and nephews. I have no kids, but I leave a legacy for them. So if I'm impacting lives and I can step out on faith and leave a comfortable, luxurious job, they too can do it as well. And they can, I can be an example for them, because what we are, Jesus went before us. He was our example. We're always striving to be like him. So we are examples for the ones that come behind us. So yeah, so that's another reason for me.
You must be a super auntie. My aunt's so cool. Look what she's doing. I love it. Okay. So another question I have that really, I think it's good to just look at where things would be if we had not said yes. So if we were to flip the script and say, however many years ago, you chose fear instead of faith, or you chose not to embrace that getting out of your comfortable position, where do you think you would be now? Like, what do you think your life might look like? I know it's almost one of those questions where it's like, I can't possibly know. And I don't think it's about painting that perfect picture of what it would be, but it's more like, how do you think you would feel? How do you think your life would have turned out?
I'll probably still be with the company I was with, but I wouldn't be fulfilled. I wouldn't be 100% happy. I wouldn't be complete. I would be I would still be what if I would be, it wouldn't be I wouldn't be challenged, or stretched. So I would, it would definitely, there would be no fulfillment there, not 100%, fulfillment. And then I wouldn't be in my purpose. I would not be in my purpose or in my passion. I wouldn't be in alignment for the will of God. Totally be out of alignment. And when you're out of alignment, you contaminate everything around you.
You do, you contaminate everything around you. And I was just thinking about how we've all been, in the school system, for example, you have that teacher or professor, they're in the wrong field because they're terrible at it and they're only doing it for the paycheck. And you wonder, if only they had found their thing, how much happier they'd be. And so I love it, because when you're not happy or you're not fulfilled, you're right, you're contaminating. You're actually, in a sense, robbing the world of who you could be.
Yep.
So that's really profound, really profound. Okay. So if there was one piece of advice or one action item, because I talked about that in the very beginning, something that people could do today, emphasis on today, not tomorrow, not eventually, but today, what would be something that you would tell everyone to do that might propel them forward in seeking out their purpose, their version of what it means to lean in and have faith?
Absolutely. I would ask them to get centered. Listen with your ear, listen with your heart, and definitely step out on faith. Do it afraid, as Joyce Meyer said, do it afraid. Step out on faith, because what I will say is, there's a purpose for all of us. And trust me, I know He's pulling you, He's calling you, He's directing you, He's waiting on you to take the next step. He's got it all set up for you. It's all set up for you. He's just waiting on you to put one foot in front of the other and take that step, because He has your back. And I tell my client, I use one of the things, I'm a Moses. I'm all characters, but when God takes me out of my comfort zone, I go to my Moses character first. Moses always gave God reasons why he couldn't. And God said, I got an Aaron for you. He always had Aaron, right?
Yeah.
And I'm Moses first, because I'm always saying, Lord, I can't. He said, I got a Moses. So what I learned to do, I stay in my Moses character for only a few minutes, not very long. I'll live there for a few minutes. And then I start saying, okay, Lord, you're going to have to, as soon as I do this, you got to show me my Aaron. Always show me my Aaron. So what I'm saying to them, trust God. He has what you need. No matter what character you go to first, He has what you need. He is not going to set you up to fail. He is not. The action you can take right now is trusting your God. Trusting Him. The next action you can take is believe in the faith that you carry in your heart. Believe in the faith and believe in you, because He believed in you, because He chose you. We are all called, and we don't all have to be qualified, because God qualified us. He called us and He qualified us. So you don't have to be qualified. You're already there. And trust that. And then move. Put it to action. Move. And just start speaking it. I am a firm believer in what I want. I believe I already got it. I already have it because God says so. And when he says so, so it is.
Beautiful. It's so true. It's so true. And I really hope that that message lands. It's for those of you who are watching, who maybe you were like I've been in the past, and maybe Janiece, maybe you've been in this place where it's like, well, everyone else is called, but not me. I mean, there's nothing special about me. I watch people go out and do amazing things, but I'm just little old me. And I invite, if you're watching today, I really encourage you to think about, what Janiece said about Moses. This guy was like, who, me? You got the wrong dude, man. So really, it really is about, we're talking to you. We're not talking to, Mother Teresa or, whomever. We're talking to you. And Janiece, you've really brought that point home. And I think that's so important for each and every one of us to grasp, that as long as you're here, as long as you're breathing, as long as you have a beating heart, we promise you, you're here for a reason. You absolutely are.
Yeah.
So Janiece, what would you, basically at the end of every interview, we ask what your free gift will be for our viewers. So what is it that you'd like to be able to offer to our viewers today?
Yes, I have a free goal setting gifts ebook. And so what it does, it helps you set up a 30-day goal, a 60-day goal, a 12 months goal. And what it does, it helps you futurize it. So you get to futurize it, see yourself. You get to basically paint the picture of where you see yourself. So you can, every day you wake up, you want to be, say, for instance, I'm gonna give you an example. I know that I want to be 30 pounds lighter. That's just an example, 30 pounds lighter. So I already see myself 30 pounds lighter. I already know that I'm 30 pounds lighter. I know what it feels like. So when I wake up every day, I'm like, I can breathe. I'm already experiencing it. So the goal setting sheet, that ebook I have, I think it's 6 pages, helps them put that together, and they can use it over and over and over. And there's questions, and so it's powerful. I used it with my clients, and they get excited. They get excited because they can visualize it. It future paths. It put them in the future. So that is what I want to offer the ladies, because we need to be in our future.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost like you need to feel it, to experience it, it almost gives you the fuel to work towards it, as opposed to it's just a wishy-washy thing down the road that I'll never achieve. So, and I love that gift. It's perfect, given that it's the beginning of 2022. So what a perfect opportunity to get back, plan, think about what it is you really want, and help unveil some of those things with this gift. So thank you. Is there any, I guess, last minute things or any last words that you'd like to share before we wrap up today?
Absolutely. I want to thank you for inviting me and having me here. To the ladies, I want you guys to know that you are unique. There's no one else just like you. I wrote this poem to my niece when she graduated. The job God has for you is for you. Is for you. And only you can do it. I can't do it. You can't do it. Only you can do it. The person he assigned it to can do it. And if you choose not to do that task, of course, you're out of alignment. A second thing, you telling the Lord that what he has done and who he has created isn't good enough for the task. And we never want to disappoint him, because he thinks so highly of us that he gave his begotten only son. Not only that, he chose you to impact the world for your assignment. So we get to do the assignment. We get to step out on faith, trust the process, get uncomfortable, be uncomfortable with uncomfortable, and do the task. So I cannot wait to see what the impact you ladies are going to make. And feel free to share with me. Feel free to let me know how you're impacting the world, because I want you to impact the world. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, Janiece. I love that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You're right. I think that our joy, our happiness, our fulfillment, if we try to create the impact we want to create based on our own ego, when we don't even know the full picture of what we were created for, we're never going to experience that. So tap into your superpower. Janiece has really summed it up beautifully. Lean in, and you will find yourself experiencing profound blessings all the way. Thank you, Janiece, and we will talk soon.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Have a great day.